Hi, this is Peter McLaughlin, and today I want to talk about past life regression, and specifically FAQs, or frequently asked questions. And this would be a collection, a non-scientific collection of the different past life regression videos that I have in the comments section, the questions that keep getting asked over and over again, so I thought I'd make a video on it. The first one I want to address is the question, is it safe? And I think most of the time people are really asking, is going into hypnosis safe? So I have a video on that topic that I'll link to right here, but the short answer is yes. Going into hypnosis is safe. You're basically in a natural state of consciousness. Like driving your car, you're going someplace, you pull into the driveway, you can't remember driving there. That's a state of hypnosis. And the worst thing that could possibly happen to you, I say worse in quotation marks, is you fall asleep and then you wake up normally. This leads me to my second point, or the second question that people ask a lot, and that is, hey, I fell asleep, what should I do? So my answer to that question is, don't do this when you're tired. And the second part of that is, if you've been lying down, make sure you sit in a chair. If you've been sitting in a comfortable chair, sit in an uncomfortable chair. And that will probably help you. If you're rested and you sit in a chair, it'll probably prevent you from falling asleep, and then you'll be able to have the whole experience. The next question is a variation on the theme of, is it real? So a lot of people have these remarkable experiences that they'll write to me. They'll say, oh, it was 1491 and I was a baker in Milan, Italy, or these other stories that have these incredible storylines to them. And understandably, they'll be in this position of saying, what the hell just happened? Did I really just have this past life experience, or did my mind just make it all up? Did my imagination make it all up? So I have another video that I'll link to here called Your Imagination is Real. And I base this on the fact that we only see with our eyes, 0.0035% of the light spectrum. And then we have the gall to run around and say, that's real, that's not real, this person's crazy, that person is sane, this is the truth, that's the only truth, the world is flat, the world is round, blah, blah, blah. I say, we know next to nothing when we try to assess things through our 5 physical senses, and that for me, the real truth is on the inside. Bottom line on this one, this question about is it real, is you're the one that had the experience. So as long as you can just accept what's happening while it's occurring, and then decide for yourself afterwards, I say you're actually the best judge to decide for yourself whether this was real or it wasn't real. So the next thing that comes up a lot in the comments section is people will say something like, I started going down the stairs during the induction, the hypnotic induction, or I got to this certain point in the hypnotic regression and I couldn't see anything. Everything was black, but I felt this intense fear. My body started shaking, or my body got really hot, and I just had to stop it. I had to quit it. I would say what's happening there is that your unconscious mind knows everything that's happened in the past. It knows all of your past lifetimes. And when you go into a past lifetime and you're not working directly with somebody, your unconscious mind often will take you to a really important past life. Maybe where there was some kind of trauma or some kind of sadness or something that really needs to be risen back up to the surface so that you can resolve it and stop carrying it as toxic material inside of you. And to me, this is an extremely persuasive experience. When somebody starts feeling either sadness or fear and they don't even know why. And if a person's in session with me, or if you do this regression again, you'll probably go into a past lifetime where those feelings will make perfect sense. In other words, they'll be congruent with what was happening in that lifetime. The next question, or the next thing that can happen to people, is they say, I just saw darkness. Nothing happened at all. So I have another video for that one. What's happening here is that your unconscious mind is creating a block because it doesn't want you to go back into a past lifetime where something traumatic occurred. It doesn't want you to re-experience something sad or something painful. But the problem with that is that it just leaves what I said earlier. It leaves that toxic material stored in your unconscious mind. And God knows how this may be affecting you in your day-to-day lifetime. Is it causing sleeplessness? Is it causing you to pull back in relationships? Is it causing, unexplained feelings of guilt or fear of heights that you can't explain, or a host of other things? The next one is, I saw, or I think I saw in my past life regression, 2 lifetimes. So this can happen. It even happens in session when I'm working one-on-one with people, that a person can be walking down this lifetime, say as a Native American 200 years ago, and all of a sudden they jump into another lifetime in Europe as a Caucasian. I can tell when that happens that their unconscious mind is kind of hopping the tracks. Why is it hopping the tracks? Not really sure, but it makes it much harder for the conscious mind later to understand what happened. So what I do in session is I keep the person kind of focused on that first track. I guess my advice to you, if this happens, would be just allow your unconscious mind to take you anywhere it wants to take you. Decide later what it all means, and if you need to, do a regression again, where you can flesh out any unanswered questions. One of my favorite questions was, I got 30 minutes into this. This was like a 1-hour past life regression. And the person said, I got 30 minutes into this and I had to stop it because I had to go back to the real world. I don't have time for this. So I guess my answer to this one is, if you don't have time to figure out your past lifetimes, if you don't have time to figure out these huge spiritual questions, then wait for a time in your life when you're actually ready for this. And lastly, probably the most common question, or if not the most common, right at the top, is, I tried so hard to make this work, and I want to so badly to have this past life experience, but it's not working for me. Please, please, please help me. So the first thing I can say to you about this one, if you fall into this category, is that if you try too hard, it's not going to work. It's almost like fishing. If you are fishing, like back here in this body of water, if you try to catch the fish, in other words, if you try to chase the fish, what's going to happen? The fish are all just going to, boop, they're all going to scatter. So even though you want something a lot, it's really important to just allow it to come to you. I mean, think about this. If you wanted to be creative and you tried really hard to be creative, it probably wouldn't work for you. If you tried really hard to go to sleep, it definitely wouldn't work for you. If you tried really hard to fall in love with somebody that you didn't love, it probably wouldn't work for you. It's really, really, really important to just allow this to unfold and to be whatever it wants to be. Now, these, in my opinion, were the top questions, the frequently asked questions. I'm sure that there are going to be other ones. And if you have other questions that I didn't answer in this video, or I didn't answer in some of the linked videos, and I'll do the best that I can to answer your questions. And always, if you like this video, please click the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to the channel so that you can access all the new content that I'm making. Click the bell notification icon and share it with your network. And we'll see you in the next video.